All right, you've clicked on this video. Is Mohamed Salah washed? You're either an angry Liverpool fan about to write a comment or a very happy Man United, Arsenal, Man City fan. They exist now. Let's get into it. He's 33 years old. It's worth asking the question. But if you are a Liverpool fan, you've played 4 games, you've won 4 games. This is a much easier conversation to have right now with so many other players carrying the load. Let's get started. We're going to go through my thoughts on Salah this season, whether or not I actually think he's washed. I don't. Spoiler alert. And what Liverpool looks like without him this season, but also, as I said, he's 33. It's time to get planning for Slot and everyone at Liverpool for what life looks like without Mo Salah. Really quickly on so far this season, 4 games in, plus the Community Shield. The way he's played is everything I expected back in 2017, in his second season at the club, 2018, I think, where everything he's doing is just a little bit wonky. It's just a little bit off. Yes, he came off that amazing season in his debut season at Liverpool, but everything that you thought of him at that time was like, is he that good? Can he do it? We've seen Patrick Bamford have good seasons. Is it just a one-hit wonder? And obviously it hasn't been. That's the way he's playing this season, though. Everything is just a little bit wonky. There is this little bit of an identity crisis, I guess. Wirtz has come in, Ekitike has come in. Ekitike and Gakpo are working so well off the left, off of each other. Salah's a bit left out, and he's playing wider than he used to with the fullback running inside. And I don't really like that, but every manager likes inverting fullbacks these days. What the eye test is telling me, like I've hinted at, it's an issue with execution right now with Mo Salah. That pass isn't coming off. He isn't having that neat touch for his shot. The one thing that would concern me with a 33-year-old winger that relies on one thing more than anything else, the athleticism. That has not shaked off. That has not been taken out of his game. You saw in the first game against Bournemouth, dying minutes of the game, still able to run, able to score off his right foot, running right from left, probably a 40, 50-yard sprint. You see in the second game against Newcastle, somehow against momentum, against 10-men Newcastle, but he gets an assist in the dying minutes. He's finding ways to contribute while playing badly, and because they're winning, this is how we define good players, okay? You're still able to contribute when everything isn't right. The way I looked at this, in terms of the numbers beyond the eye test, let's think about what he is as a shooter, but also a creator. When I think of Mo Salah, he's getting lots of chances to shoot and take aim at Premier League goalkeepers. Usually in this past career at Liverpool, averaging somewhere between 3 to 4 shots a game, right? He's only had 4 shots this season, and that's including the penalty against Burnley. 4 shots in 4 games. Nowhere near enough. And that's a combination of a couple things. I don't know if you've noticed. Sometimes he's making that run. He's not being played through. But sometimes he is just so far away from the goal. And that is the issue that I would have. If I was a Liverpool fan right now, luckily I'm not. I'd hate myself. But if I was one, I'd be worried about how far away he's playing from goal sometimes. I don't like him being on the touchline. And that's something that you'll see more of, I think, this season with what they want to do with their fullbacks. The other side of his game, because, he is a bit of a creator now. He is a bit of a creator. His numbers are the same in terms of what he's creating, in terms of the passes into the box. He's getting 2 or 3 passes every game into the box. But I have to say, based on the eye test, that could be a lot higher. That could be a lot higher. There's been so many moments where that pass has been wonky. It's gone out for a goal kick, or he hasn't gotten that shot off on the edge of the box. And the final thing is the touches. Is he getting enough of the ball? Because you've added 140 million solution / problem. I don't know what you guys are calling Wirtz yet into that team, and he's getting a lot of the touches that Salah would want in the half spaces some of the time. He's getting 40 touches a game, usually averages around 45 to 50 over the past 5-6 years at Liverpool. It's an all-time low, and I'd be a little bit concerned because in these 4 games, you've played Burnley. You've had over 60% possession in 3 games. And against Burnley, you had 80, 90% of the ball. So, look, there's so much going on with this new look Liverpool team. They don't rely on him as much, which is a good thing. But if they don't win if they don't win a few games, if there's a few draws, if there's a loss, that's when Mo Salah media darling turns into enemy number one, and that's what I'd be worried about. Let's get into it then. What Liverpool's going to look like without him this season, because there's something called AFCON, which we probably should stop the Premier League for, but we're never going to. We've just made our peace with that. These are the games that he's going to miss at AFCON if he goes and does the full training camp, which he might skip. We saw Onana skip it last time for Man United, and I'm sure Salah would do the same. But it's Brighton, Spurs, Wolves, Leeds, Fulham. Those 5 games, if Salah misses these 5 for AFCON, you're not losing too much sleep. Yes, there's a Spurs game, but the other 4, you've made enough investments now. We don't need to say the names, but you've made enough investments now to win those games. Where it starts to get complicated, they face Arsenal the same week that Salah's due to play the round of 16. So if you're a Liverpool fan, you might not want Egypt to do well. He would also then miss Burnley and Bournemouth if they are to progress further and further. So what is Arne Slot going to do? Okay. I don't know. You don't know. Arne Slot probably hasn't thought about it yet. There's too many games right now to think about it. There's 2 more Champions League games. There's a title race, I hope, this season that he's worried about. It's too early to think about December, January. But it's also weird for us to predict because Arne Slot is capable of being versatile. Hint, hint, to any managers out there that only play one way, he's versatile. So I've drawn up a couple of options. I think it could be like for like. I think Salah could go out and you've got Chiesa, you've got Frimpong who plays higher up for Netherlands, and at Leverkusen he was essentially a winger. So I think you could see that happen with where Salah's playing right now. And Salah being on the touchline is a little bit annoying, but if that's Frimpong, you're not exactly losing sleep. It might suit him better to play that role and play through the other guys a bit more. But what I'm really curious about, and this is option number 2, all right? There was a couple of games in the back half of the season where Slots used this 4-2-4 or a 4-2-2-2 against Man City, and it worked. It worked really well. What I think this formation does for Liverpool is it gives the 2 new signings that everyone's saying only one of them can play, Isak and Ekitike, a real chance at 2 months to work together and make what the future of Liverpool looks like. Those 2 playing together as the strikers. Then you've got Wirtz, you've got Szoboszlai, you've got McAllister, you've got Curtis Jones. So many guys that are capable and willing. 2 very important things that I'll get back to later on in the video. Capable and willing to play wherever they're needed. Because when I look at McAllister, he's done so much at Brighton. He could almost play as a striker if he needed to. He'll play anywhere. And I think there's a lot of multifaceted players that I think Arne Slot will get the most out of in this period. This is probably really depressing for Liverpool fans. And if you have made it to this part of the video, we're going to talk about what life looks like without Salah and Van Dijk. I know how important they were to you, but they're going to leave. End of this season and next season, maybe the season after that if they do one more year on top of their contracts. What does life look like for Liverpool without these 2 guys? We're at the point of the video where maybe no one's watching, so I'm happy to call them Premier League legends. No one's going to hear this, right? But I've drawn up a couple of options. I think if they are going to stick with a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3, whatever they're playing right now, however you define it, you need to sign a quality right winger. I don't think there's anyone at this club that can do it. I think Frimpong is a makeshift for that position, but I don't think anyone is capable and willing. The only man I think that's capable of playing at the right wing, and it's because of one dribble he did for Sweden at the 2021 Euros, is Alexander Isak. I think he could be capable. I say this about a lot of strikers. I say this about Mbappe. I think Mbappe's best position is still right wing for some reason, because I saw him play for France in the 2018 World Cup. I think Isak could do it. Did he just make a big money move to play on the right wing? Hell no. So I think if they play the 4-3-3, everything else stays the same. You sign a centre-back, you sign a right winger. That is the vanilla standard approach. But because you have Slot at Liverpool, probably after Salah leaves. I'm not anticipating him to be sacked. I think he could really step into a 3-5-2. And I think this does two things. The first of those, of course, like I said, if you play two strikers up top, Ekitike, Isak, playing together. You have invested north of 200, maybe north of 250 million, north of 300, 400 if you add in the wages and the bonuses and the agent fees, right? Into these two players, get them playing close to each other, linking up with Wirtz in behind. You have invested so much money in these three guys. Play them together and let them work it out. What the 3-5-2 also does, because if you notice at the back, the moment Van Dijk leaves, you now have no capable centre-back. That video of Jordi Alba at half-time against Liverpool crying because they were 3-0 down in the second leg, every Liverpool defender that is still in the building, the moment Van Dijk leaves, will cry at half-time. And like I said, we're at the point of the video where I'm happy to be complimentary to Virgil van Dijk. If you play three defenders, it's a very Moneyball mindset to have, but how do you replace Van Dijk? It's in the aggregate. It's really in the aggregate. Kanate and two other guys. They signed one guy this season who I'm yet to see play. Maybe Joe Gomez is still there as well. He might be on the way out, but just sign one more decent defender. Arsenal's got about 20 guys at the back. I'm sure you make a good bid. One of them will come over to you. If not, the Italian league's got plenty of box defenders to replace Van Dijk in the aggregate. I don't know how you're going to do this. I don't know how you're going to mentally be able to play a high line and have two centre-backs at the back and it be an unknown quantity. Okay, I don't know who you ask to replace Van Dijk. I think it has to be 2-3 guys, to be honest. Just as we wrap up the video, I said it earlier, I don't think Arne Slot is thinking about this right now, okay? When would you, if you were a Premier League manager, if Liverpool hired you right now, off the bed, playing career mode, to actually go to Anfield, when would you start thinking about the AFCON period? When would you start to think forward? Because there is essentially 2 games a week now, between now and December, apart from the international breaks. When would you spend that time? Probably in the international breaks, right? That's what I'm thinking of, to think ahead and think forward about the squad building for the future years as well. How often are they having these chats? These are the questions I would like to ask Premier League managers, but unfortunately we don't have the viewership that dictates that sort of momentum. That's it for now. These were my thoughts on Liverpool. Mo Salah, he's not washed. He might be though, and that excites me. Ciao.